So much for being here. Thanks for having me, Ken Sager and Charlie Wishman. Thank you very much for inviting me today. If we're honest, or let me be honest, in Colorado and in Iowa and across the country, I've met a lot of union members who voted for Donald Trump. Yeah, I have. And when I ask them, why did you vote for Donald Trump? They very often say to me, because we wanted to blow the place up, meaning Washington, D.C. And I would have never thought that Trump would be the remedy for the problems that we're facing, and I don't think that he is. But I understand the sentiment about Washington. For the past 40 years, 9 out of 10 Americans haven't seen a pay raise. Inequality is higher today than it's been in 100 years. The rise of China and global markets, automation, technology, attacks on organized labor at the state and federal level have put working families through the ringer. And meanwhile, what's Washington's response to all this has been? Since 2001, where are you? Tax cuts. Yeah, since 2001, we've borrowed $5 trillion from the Chinese for the privilege of giving $5 trillion worth of tax cuts to the wealthiest people in America. We borrowed $5.6 trillion from the Chinese to pay for wars in the Middle East. And from the perspective of working people in this country, we might as well have lit that money on fire. So it's not surprising to me that a lot of people felt like it couldn't get any worse, and so they voted for Donald Trump, a reality TV star, to be the president of the United States. But it did get worse. He filled the NLRB with ideological nominees hostile to working people and organized labor. He gutted rules to strengthen overtime pay that'll leave 8 million workers behind and cost them over $1 billion a year. He's delayed rules to protect workers from harmful materials linked to cancer and lung disease. He renegotiated NAFTA and did nothing to make the labor provisions tougher. He's the first president in American history to actually take health care away from millions of Americans. And when it comes to infrastructure, he broke all those promises too. He never even wrote a bill on infrastructure, much less pass one through the Congress to rebuild our roads and our bridges. While China's building 3,500 miles of fiber optic cable from Africa to Latin America to connect it to China, we spent 7 months in a discussion about $6 billion for a wall that Mexico was supposed to pay for. That's what we were engaged in while Mexico was building that kind of infrastructure. So we need to beat Donald Trump. And it's shameful to me that as Democrats, and I say this as a proud Democrat, that we lost a jobs argument to someone who filed for bankruptcy 6 times, who couldn't even make money off a casino, who ripped off the mechanics, painters, and waiters who worked for him. But we lost to him because nobody had any idea what our party stood for. And that's why I proposed the most significant investment in working people in generation. My plan has 3 points. First, we will invest $500 billion in the 70% of Americans without a 4-year college degree who have been left completely behind in this economy and forgotten by the politicians in Washington, so that they can earn a living wage when they graduate high school, not just the minimum wage. We will expand proven models of job training like the registered apprenticeships unions have built for decades. We know they're the gold standard for training people to earn a living wage. And by the way, while we do that, we must drive a stake through President Trump's efforts to create low standard apprenticeships through IRAPs. In addition to high quality training, we will create an incentive for employers to hire and keep people that have long been out of work, including people on public assistance, people on disabilities, and those who have served time. We'll scale up summer jobs and vocational training again so young people can get off to a strong start earning a living wage and not just a minimum wage in this economy. Second, we need to make work pay again in this country. And of course, that starts with increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour, but that's not nearly enough. To really help the middle class, we need to dramatically expand the child tax credit and scale up the earned income tax credit, as Senator Brown and I have proposed. For a typical family of 4, my plan would put $2,000 in their pocket every year. We need to pass real paid family and medical leave so workers can take care of a young child or an aging parent without fear of losing their jobs or their earning potential. And at the same time, we need to empower workers by supporting collective bargaining, rolling back the attacks at the state level, and cracking down on corporate abuses. Donald Trump has not done any of that, and he will not do any of that. Third, we need to make sure workers are the first people that we think about when the economy begins to tank, not the last. If we learn nothing from the Great Recession of broken Washington, it's that we need to respond aggressively and take the politics out of it when our economy starts to fold. That's why my plan takes immediate and automatic action to support workers when the economy begins to slow and creates a fast-track infrastructure fund to put people to work. In this election, it won't be enough to run against Donald Trump's lies and empty promises. We need to make crystal clear that the Democratic Party stands for working people. We're for raising the minimum wage, not cutting taxes for the rich. We're for paid family leave, collective bargaining, and a strong safety net, not for taking all of that away. We're for driving the money out of our politics and putting people back in it. We're for expanding health care, not ripping it away from millions of families. If we run on these ideas, we will not only beat Donald Trump, we will unite the American people to overcome a broken Washington. It will take more than a president to do that. It is the opposite of what Trump told us in the last campaign when he said, "I alone can fix it." That's not how America is supposed to work. That's not how this democracy is supposed to work. I can't think of any sentiment more at war with the values of organized labor, or to put a finer point on it, the values of our country, than the idea that we're going to put one king or tyrant in the White House to fix it all. It's going to take all of us to fix the damage that's been done the last 4 years, and I believe we can. I'm not sure we can fix the damage that would be done by 8 years of this president. It is long past time for us to move beyond this reality TV show and get on with the work our country needs us to do. Thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate it.